610 CKTB, Niagara's place to talk.
19 minutes after 6 o'clock. Good morning, Joe Cahill in. I remember the old Consumers Distributing. I loved Consumers Distributing. That's where you would go to the catalog, you go into the store, a little warehouse with a little bit of a storefront. You'd leaf through the Consumers Distributing catalog. Each page was individually encased in this plastic, right? So you'd flip through, okay, I'll take the personal vibration device. Yeah, I know, you used to look at those too, because they'd have them at Consumers. You'd fill out the numbers on the little piece of paper, and you hand it to the clerk. They would go into the back and get it. That's how you shop at Consumers Distributing. Joining me on the line now, he is the proprietor of the PC Museum in Brantford, Sid Bolton. Good morning, Sid. Glad to have you back.
Glad to be here. How are you?
Not bad. Now, I heard about, now this has got nothing to do with your PC Museum per se, but you've managed to set up this new website. A buddy of yours managed to hit the Consumers Distributing mother lode?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. My friend Dave actually has, like me, he actually enjoyed the experience of shopping. And it does have something to do with the Personal Computer Museum in a way, because what Dave and I were always looking at when we were younger, of course, was video games and toys and things like that. And that's sort of a lot of what we have at the Computer Museum. And through a strange set of circumstances, Dave has been looking for these catalogs for years. And it turns out that they're very collectible. People are actually paying big bucks. I mean, we're talking like $200
No.
for catalogs, yeah, that go back. And this store started back, I think it was in 1967. And so the older ones are really, really worth a lot of money. But we were really interested in the ones from the 80s, because that's when we were kids, and that's when things like, you could buy an Atari and you could buy a Sega and all that kind of stuff. And we used to love looking at them. And, of course, you got to remember as well, the Canadian dollar was very different back then. So games would often be about $90.
Really? That much?
A lot, especially sports games, which today are virtually worth nothing after they've been used for a while. So Dave's been looking to buy these catalogs, and through a set of circumstances, he came across a whole bunch of them. And so he decided to scan them, and he shared them with me, because that's just the kind of guy that he is. And, of course, just the kind of guy that I am, I wanted to share them with the world. So
now, I also understand, and I don't remember ShopRite. That's another Canadian, it was kind of like Consumers, I guess, huh?
Yeah, exactly. While Consumers Distributing started out, became very, very popular, the Hudson's Bay Company, which is Canada's oldest retailer, decided that they were going to get in on the game as well. And so they opened up a competitor called ShopRite. And so this was the big thing in the 80s. It was this catalog shopping. And even Woco, if you remember the good old Woco stores,
yeah,
they actually opened up a couple of catalog stores in Quebec. I don't think they actually opened any in Ontario. But so what we've decided to do is sort of take these catalogs and put them online and make them available for people to look at. We don't have all the pages of all the catalogs yet, but we are working on it. And just recently, so the site that we have is called cdarchive.ca, and so it stands for Consumer Distributing Archive. But we've also added a ShopRite catalog, a few pages of it. And somebody also came to me recently and said, you know what, I've got old Radio Shack catalogs that have computers and things like that in them as well. So we're going to be adding those as well as time goes on.
Sid, I didn't know this, but apparently they're opening a Consumers Distributor. Are they coming back?
Yeah, that was an interesting thing that happened. When the story on this first broke, we actually got contacted by the CEO of the new Consumers Distributing.
Really?
And I have yet to actually talk to him in person, but we're trying to connect. And apparently what happened was the actual Consumers Distributing went bankrupt about 1996. And about 10 years later, a guy named Mark King ended up purchasing the name, and he's had the name for a few years. He's been trying to relaunch it as a brand, and supposedly sometime either this fall or early spring, there's going to be 2 new stores opening up in Niagara Falls.
Wow.
And his plan is to go across Canada. And the difference will be, instead of having a catalog that you flip through, as you so eloquently described at the beginning of the segment, you'll actually have a touchscreen computer that you can go to. And the concept overall is just that. Instead of having a large retail space that costs a lot of money for rent, which consumers end up spending when they buy the products through the markup, the idea will be is that the amount of space will be smaller because all the items will be stacked in a warehouse behind the scenes, but you'll be able to shop through an actual computer touchscreen in the front. And the nice thing is you'll be able to know instantly whether a product was in stock or not, because that was one of the big failings of the original Consumers Distributing. There was nothing worse than waiting in line with your little card all filled out and then finding out, that whatever you wanted just wasn't in stock.
You're bringing back memories for me, Sid.
Yeah, I went through it too. I remember it very, very well. And in Brantford, where I'm from, there actually was the ShopRite and the Consumers Distributing were on the same street, and they were literally, less than half a kilometer apart from each other.
Man, oh man! So again, this is great. If you if you are an old fan of the old Consumers Distributing, like I was, what's the website again, Sid?
So the website is cdarchive.ca. And it's a sister site of the Personal Computer Museum here in Brantford.
And I'll tell you, folks, go through your trunks in the basement. If you've got an old Consumers distributing catalog, you could be in for a bit of cash, eh, Sid?
You could be, or if you wanted to help out the cause before you sell it, come and bring it to us. We're open tomorrow from 10 to 4 at the museum, and let me scan it before you sell it.
Okay, yeah, that's the main thing. And if you need Sid's number, we have it for you at the station. Sid, thanks. I appreciate this today.
Thank you, Joe. Have a great day.
All right, there's Sid Bolton, owner of the Personal Computer Museum in Brantford, and now he's got the cdarchive.ca. What's the old Consumers on Glendale Ave across from the Penn Center? Was there a shop right here in Niagara? I'll have to ask Mike off the air, but boy, oh boy, brings back some great memories. 6:25 at News Talk 610 CKTV.